This is episode 699, and I'm Greg Swanson. Today we're going to be talking about changing your behaviors. So when you look at behaviors, if what you're doing isn't working, repeating that isn't going to change the results. So we want to take a look at changing those behaviors that aren't supporting you anymore. So, changing your behavior is at the heart of personal transformation, especially when it comes to building resilience and mental strength. Change is critical in that. But why is it so challenging to change our patterns? Well, we've all tried and we've all failed and we've all tried and we've all succeeded at some things. So we want to take a look at what helps us succeed and what holds us back. And how does shifting our behaviors influence our capacity to handle life's toughest moments? I mean, have you ever thought about that? Is some of your behaviors are non-supportive when you face tough times, and we can implement better behaviors to be supportive when you face tough times. Studies show that behavior change is integral to both mental and emotional resilience, helping us stay strong in the face of adversity. And so this is behavior change. We want to change the way we interact with the world. So in this podcast, we'll dive into the impact of changing your behavior on mental toughness, uncovering practical steps that empower lasting change and boost inner resilience. So are you ready to unlock your strongest self? Let's get started. So first, let's talk about understanding the need for changing your behavior, right? So the power of habit transformation. So change, when we can work with change first and then change our behavior, we are actually, if we put it in a mindful and positive way, it actually is essential for self-improvement. If we stay where we are and don't change our behavior and don't change our patterns, we really will not be improving. We will just be repeating the same thing over and over again. So we want to look at, and it doesn't mean that the behaviors you have now are bad. The behaviors you have got you to where you are. But if you want to go further, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in physical abilities, whether it's career, whatever you did got you here. Now you need to change it to get to where you want to be. And so behavior change is also a gateway to resilience. When you think about new habits can strengthen your ability to face challenges, because most probably the new habit is going to be a challenge. So if you say you want to go to the gym and you commit to waking up at 4 o'clock, that might be your biggest challenge, is waking up and getting to the gym. But as you do that, you will build resilience. And we want to break free from old patterns. And, those old patterns can become so ingrained and those behaviors limit our growth. We can look at, we come back from a tough day at the job and we decide to eat a box of Oreos. Well, that's not the best pattern. That's not the best behavior. So breaking free from those will also help change our behavior. So when we're looking at change, it's not changing because something is bad. It's changing because it might not be working or it isn't working anymore. So we want to change it to something more empowering. Now, this change is going to involve mental strength. It's going to involve resilience. It's going to involve grit. So we want to understand that we need to change. We have to step out of our comfort zone in order to change. And so now let's take a look at how changing your behavior builds mental strength, right? Mental strength and new habits, how adopting new behaviors builds psychological resistance. When we look at the 4 C's of mental strength: control, challenge, commitment, and confidence, challenge is the one where we need to do something different. We need to step out of our comfort zone. And almost all new behaviors are simple, but they may not be easy because they're pushing us out of our comfort zone. And when we adopt new supportive behaviors, we are going to resist it because the ego hates change. The ego says, why change? You're alive, you're okay, you have a house, you have a job, you have family, or whatever it might be. And the ego says, we don't want change, we don't like change. And the ego, and that's okay, that's part of the ego's job, is to protect you and preserve you. But that also means that it challenges you and comes up with a lot of internal self-talk as to why you can't or not can't. Well, maybe you can't, or maybe you should change. But when we can consciously start stepping out of our comfort zone, we are going to face challenging behaviors, and that is going to build mental strength and resilience. Discomfort with confidence, right? We want to learn to embrace discomfort as a part of mental growth. And that is, we want to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the only way we can do that is by changing our behavior. Let's just say you go to the gym and you do 135 bench press 10 times, and you've been doing it for the past 5 years. One, you're not changing. Two, you're not developing mental resistance or mental strength. So you want to start changing even just the amount that you lift. That is a change of behavior. And with confidence learning, you're going to learn from those attempts at benching, and you will then step out of your comfort zone, which will then help you with your confidence, right? So again, control, challenge, commitment, and confidence. When we challenge ourselves and accept the new behavior that comes with it, we will have confidence to build new ones. So the role of consistency is we want to be this. The behavior won't stick until we are consistent with it. If you come home every day from work and you say, I'm going to go for a walk, you go for a walk. You just do it, right? That's the commitment. When you make a commitment, you stick with it. And even if you haven't been doing it for a while, you go out and do it. It may be a block, it may be a minute, maybe 10 minutes, but we want to have repetition to reinforce the mental and emotional resilience. If we give in to our thoughts, if we give in to our emotions, we are not going to improve. We are not going to change our behavior. We are not going to get mentally stronger. So we want to follow some successful change to your behavior for greater resilience, right? So one of it is set specific achievable goals. How clear objectives can create motivation and structure. That is, when you have a specific vision and write it down. I've gone over the SMARTER formula many times on the podcast, but you want to get specific. So you want to get so specific that if you were an artist, you could draw a picture of it. You want to get so specific that you could close your eyes and see it. And when this happens, you get clear objectives, and those objectives then can motivate and will help you create a structure to achieve it. On your way to this goal, we want to acknowledge all the small wins. And the small wins could be just, hey, you took action. Even if you didn't succeed at what you wanted, you took action. That is a huge win. So we don't want to look at the results. We want to look at the effort. And Carol Dweck talks about this in Mindset, is acknowledging the effort, not the result, because the effort produces the result. If we only focus on the result, we're not going to learn how to change our effort or our technique. So we want to acknowledge, if we took action, let's acknowledge it as a small win. And then we want to have positive reinforcement. So for instance, let's just say you had a goal, you took one small step, you didn't get what you wanted, but then you want to question yourself, what was it that allowed me to take that one small step? Well, maybe it was hope, maybe it was the goal, maybe it was motivation. You go, how can I apply that same trigger to take the next small step? And then learn from it, right? There is no failure, there's just feedback. So we want to have this positive reinforcement that I took a step, I got feedback. I'm going to take another step and I'm going to get feedback. And this will be acknowledging that you are making progress, and that will also improve with your confidence. And this will be a positive reinforcement that you are doing something. And then we want to monitor your progress. So you take a step forward, you get what you want. You take a step forward, you get what you want. So what I'd like to do is at the end of every week, if I have a specific goal, is what is the biggest thing I accomplished that week to get closer to that goal. Now, every day we should have an action plan to get closer to that goal, but we want to consolidate that as what is the biggest thing that happened that week. And we do that for week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then for the month, we write down what is the biggest thing that happened that month. And we want to track it so that at the end of the year, we can find the 12 biggest things that help us create the success we wanted. Then we can duplicate that. But if we don't track the information, if we don't track what we do, if we don't track the results, we're not going to be able to duplicate that for other goals. So the mental and emotional benefits for changing your behavior, because we don't want to do it, we can become emotionally strong, and usually because we don't want to do it, we will become mentally strong. If we use the 4 C's, right? Commit, challenge, confidence, and control. Improve focus and clarity. When we have a goal that we're going after, and we have this focus and clarity on what is the behavior we want to instill, and how do we want to use this behavior, and what actions do we want to take in addition to it, that helps us provide focus, right? Focus, follow one course until successful. And when we have a goal, we change a behavior. We have a goal, and then we focus on the steps it takes to get there. We don't try one thing and then deviate the next day. We don't try one thing, deviate the day after that. Yes, we may have to change the methods, but we want to focus on the goal and get clarity on what we want. And also, as we can say stressed by putting in new routines, once they are there, they're going to create emotional balance. Like if you look at where you are right now, normally you're at an equilibrium, throughout the day. Yes, there's going to be times in the day where it's a roller coaster, where it's very stressful, very not stressful, very happy, but when you go through the emotional challenges of putting in a new routine and succeed and instilling that behavior, you will then take a deep breath, release it, and go, emotionally, I'm balanced. Mentally, I'm balanced, because the positive habits will reinforce emotional balance. And then we want to build self-belief through that success, right? That confidence, that self-belief. This is why it's important to track our successes, because achieving behavior change builds confidence and self-respect. If we say we're going to do something, we commit to it, we take the action, and we succeed in it, that is a change of behavior. Most people will give up on most of the behaviors that they want to change, and that's why the life doesn't change that much. Their physique, their relationships, nothing changes that much because they don't challenge themselves to change behavior. But when you change the behavior and everything turns out okay, you'll have the confidence to do more, and then you'll have better self-respect to even push yourself further the next time. So when we look about overcoming challenges in changing your behavior, again, I know I'm hitting this a lot here, but it's the control, challenge, commitment, and confidence. Setbacks are there. They're going to be there. And this is where grit and resilience comes in. You try something, it didn't work. You hit a resistance. Well, you do it again, maybe not the same way. Maybe you do it the same way to see if you get a different result. But whatever it is, when we make a commitment to achieve a goal, we will go above it, around it, through it, underneath it to achieve it. And that is going to help us with facing challenges that will then instill future behaviors for changing our behavior. And we want to develop that growth mindset. Is like, I'm always learning. I don't know it all. Just because I did it one way, it doesn't mean it's the right way. And we want to take a look at this and look at our behaviors that go towards the destination, but we don't want to focus on the destination itself, because it's our behaviors, our tactical execution of our behaviors, our action items that get to the destination. And a growth mindset is, hey, if this doesn't work after so many times, I'll try something else, but I'm never going to give up. And resilience through perseverance, right? These behaviors can be very hard to embrace. And let's say we say, man, I'm going to get up at the gym at 4 o'clock, and we get up Monday through Friday, and then come the weekend, we don't get up. Monday comes, oh, I had a rough night. My football team lost. I'm not in a good mood. I'm going to sleep in today, right? And that we need the perseverance and resilience to push through it. If we make that commitment, We push through it with mental strength. And then what's great is that once that habit gets installed, waking up at 4 o'clock is a piece of cake. Coming home, going for a walk is a piece of cake. When we, speaking of piece of cake, if you change your nutrition program, that's easy to do. But all of these changes require you to step out of your comfort zone, embrace the change, embrace the suck, as the SEALs say, and keep going until that has been ingrained, that behavior. So let's get on some final thoughts here. Changing your behavior is a journey that demands resilience, mental strength, and consistent effort. It is going to be simple. It's not going to be easy. When you commit to new habits, you're not only transforming your actions, but also fortifying your minds against the challenges that life inevitably presents itself. So whether you're doing stuff personally, whatever you develop there, you'll be able to take over to your professional life. Whatever your habits and behaviors you change in your professional life, you'll be able to bring them into your personal life. So creating new habits, it's a global effect. You're a holistic individual. Embracing behavior change is one of those powerful tools in building grit and inner resilience because we are so habit driven. There are some habits that are great, some habits are not. But what I would ask you to do is look at the habits you do regularly and ask, is this habit helping me move forward? Has it served its purpose? Is it just there now? Is it just, a lame duck habit per se? So are you ready to commit to the change? Right? That's the big thing is I want to change. I'm going to commit. Commit means you see it through to the end. Commit is you're giving your word to yourself that whatever you put down there, you're going to change. So remember, each small step leads to big transformations. One small step at a time, inch by inch, anything's a cinch. So start today. Let each decision, because you're in control of your decisions, you make be a testament to your strength and determination. If you'd like to see the show notes on this podcast, you can visit warriormindcoach.com. While you're there, you can find some more useful information in the form of podcasts and blog posts, as well as how to contact me for a breakthrough session. Since you'll be on the internet, please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest under Warrior Mind Coach.